Welcome back to the channel. So over the past year and a half, I've been infusing liquor with fruit and sugar. And so far I have 5 different batches. So I just want to taste through all of them and kind of see how they're progressing. Some of them I have already removed the fruit from them because I thought they were at the right level, but we'll just see how they are in parallel. The oldest one I have here is the Umeshu I made with unripe plums. That was vodka, unripe green plums, and sugar. This was the fresh version of that. So that was the same plum as these. They were aged same way, sugar, vodka, with the fresh plums. And since that time, I've poured off the fruit and drained into a clean bottle. This one's from June 20 of 2022, so from last year. This was from at the end of that summer, so it's in August, September. This is from the beginning of summer of 2023, so this is the Serviceberry infusion one, or June berries, depending on what you want to call them. This only has a little bit left because we've already been kind of enjoying it. This is the Blackberry version, so this was, again, a neutral spirit like vodka, blackberries, and sugar. And then the most recent one, which is definitely the youngest, is like an apple pie inspired shoe. So this is apples, sugar, whiskey in this case. I think you can kind of see it. There's a cinnamon stick, and there's also vanilla bean in here. I definitely know I've tasted this one along the way, this Umeshu, the original batch I tried. It definitely needed time. It was very green in the beginning. I think when I tried in the original video, after about 6 months, yeah, it was just not there yet. So I'll start with that one. So something I've noticed over time is that as this is aged, a lot of the plums have turned from green to this kind of brownish color. It's definitely lost all that green characteristic. It's starting to now kind of have some nice bright back end fruitiness. This one, which I'll try in a second, definitely hit this like fruit punch starburst. That one doesn't have this, and it'll never probably have that because of the green plums. I think this one still got a little bit of alcohol burn in the end, which I don't think is going to go away without adding any more sugar. But I think this one's probably about ready to take off the fruit. Maybe I'll let it go for a little while, but I think this is about right for where it should be. Most Umeshu you age for at least a year. This is going on almost a year and a half, like a year and a quarter. So this is basically right when you should be drinking it. I do know that what I've seen in Japan, when you see Umeshu on the shelves of different bars, is that they'll just have as a big jug. And once it gets to that year point, they'll just pour from that and leave the fruit on there. So that's kind of what I've tried to mimic here. Now, for this one, again, I said this was the fresh plums, same variety of plum that I picked from that bush that I got the plums from. So this one, at some point, we did decide that it was at the right level. The fruit was no longer like having any flavor. They were pretty much completely shriveled up because they were fresh. So we filtered it off. This one has gone through different colors. It's orange currently. I think there was a peak for this one where it really did smell like juicy fruit kind of, or starburst, like high-end kind of artificial sweetener. That was kind of really good with that. It's still really good. It's just not where it was. It's kind of mellowed out a little bit from that character. So that was like really intense fresh fruit. I think with the unripe fruit versus the fresh fruit version, this one definitely is ready sooner. And once it gets there, it's like, filter it, clean it up. But overall, this is really good right now. We've been enjoying this with some ice or with just like a little bit of soda water with it to kind of balance it out, make a nice little cocktail. Yeah, but it's still got the nice like fruit punchy, but just toned down a little bit, not as intense as it was originally. But this was really delicious when it was at its peak. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever aged wine. I always feel there's kind of like a bell curve where it's like, it's not there, not there, and then it eventually hits that peak and then it kind of deteriorates. This is on the back end, but when it was at its peak, I highly recommend making this. This was delicious. Now for the Serviceberry one, this one, the fruit kind of got absorbed into the liquor. This one hasn't really done that. The fruit is still pretty intact, very similar to the plum. It's taken a nice color. It did take the color of the Serviceberries. Let's see how it is currently. Oh, interesting. It's got kind of like a dum-dum, like lollipop kind of aroma to it. It's actually pretty pleasant right now. Ooh, it's gotten a lot better. That was, for a while, I don't know if the fruit hadn't really started to extract into the liquor, but for a while this was very booze heavy, and I thought it would probably need some extra sweetener. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think this one is, I think I picked them in June, made it like end of June, early July, so this is maybe 5 months old. This definitely could use a little bit more age, but it's now starting to pick up a lot of the fruit characteristic from the Serviceberries, which is good. I'm guessing in probably another 3 to 6 months, this will be perfect, but I haven't really had it where it didn't have that like sharp alcohol burn every time I tried it previously to this. So definitely need some time. Yeah, but it kind of got this like candied booziness to it. It's not as sweet as these ones, or this one especially. So I think in general, I've been kind of finding the right sugar level to fruit is about 70% sugar to fruit. And then the liquor is kind of up to you, but if you're looking for that ratio. So this is the Blackberry one. I made a very, very small batch of this. Definitely think I should have made more of this. I mean, as you can see, there's only this much left and start with a lot more than that. As we've already filtered this off of the blackberries because we thought it hit the perfect point, similar to how we did with the plum one. Yeah, it's got a nice, rich, like dark fruit character. Oh, it's super good. This is like the perfect level of everything. It's got the nice like back end sweetness. A lot of the booze has been cut out by the actual fruit. The fruit is infused nicely in age. It's not fresh fruit anymore, but it's more like dark, rich fruit, like currants or like things when you describe beer and you get that like dark fruit. That's what it kind of reminds me of. This is delicious. I mean, I highly recommend berries. Maybe not the Serviceberries as much, but the Blackberry one is definitely turning out pretty well. This one tastes amazing. I wish we had a little bit more of it. Now, this is definitely the youngest. All of these were made with a neutral spirit like vodka or something similar to that. This one I decided to go with a whiskey. Thought the whiskey would balance well with the spice and the fruit in the apple case. I did transfer it out of its original container so I could put fermentation weight because the fruit was kind of floating up above, so I wanted to keep it in the actual liquid. But this one by far is the most like effervescent. You can definitely get the, I mean, it just smells like apple cinnamon pie deliciousness, like that fresh baked pie smell. So like what I was targeting definitely infused into this. And it's got a nice like yellowish color. I mean, a lot of the color is still just coming from the whiskey itself. But again, I got nice spice on it. I don't really smell any vanilla, but maybe that's just kind of like the whiskey is taking over that. And cinnamon is much more of a stronger aroma than vanilla. Honestly, out of all of these, this might be my favorite. And it's almost at the point where I think this is maybe 3 weeks old, maybe a little bit, maybe like a month at this point. But at this point, I think this is almost ready to just completely drink. I think the apples had enough flavor to impart in them. They're pretty juicy. Cutting them up, I think also helped increase that process of extracting some of the flavor out. All the spices are right there. So this is really, really good. And again, this is quick. So if you want to make this right now, you can get some apples, sugar, and cinnamon, and vanilla bean, and with a little bit of whiskey. This turned out amazing. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. And it just smells like warm apple pie ready in time for Thanksgiving. It's kind of what it reminds me of. It's really good. I think it's basically there. I'm probably going to filter this pretty soon. I know some of you follow me along this journey as I've made each batch of these and kind of give me some updates along the way. And some of them, because this one took so long to make, there's been such a long distance. So I hope this update kind of gives you an idea of how things are sitting and how these kind of mature over time. If you want to see any of the original videos for them, I'll link those down below. And if you're new to the channel and you like this type of content and you haven't seen this other stuff before, consider subscribing so you can see more videos like this. And if you want to see the video where I made these guys, I'll link it right up here. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye.